Are you ready for a little luck of the Irish? Grab some felt, get your pattern at birdsofheather.ca, and let's get crafting. Color outside the lines. So today we're going to do coasters that are going to do double duty. So instead of having a coaster that you put your glass down on, we're going to do a coaster that is felt and is going to slip onto the base of your glass that never comes off. And you'll be able to identify which glass is yours because we're going to use different colors. So let's set the green aside for now. We're going to cut out our pattern a little bit later. We're going to start with the base, and I've got circles here. And on the pattern, you'll see the dimensions of the circle that you need. Just going to cut around this so that we can prep it for later. Now let's cut out our pattern, and I've got two different sizes here, depending on the size of the base of your glass. I think this is around 2.5 inches. You could use the larger size pattern. So let's cut our paper pattern. Now you're going to notice the star-shaped pattern in the middle. You also want to cut that out. So I've got some sharp curved scissors here, and I find that's really great for getting into tight spots. You can just snip away and get right into those tight corners. And there we go, we've got our little cutout. Now, we also want to cut out this center section here. So we're going to cut that away too. If you want your 4-leaf clover this way up, you want to put it face down. So now I'm just going to trace around it with pencil, and we're going to cut that out too. Once this is done, we're going to pair it up with our base, and what we're going to do is we're going to go from here to here individually on each of the 4 of the leaves. And we're going to stitch right around like that. We're going to stop there and stop there. We're just going to stitch around the outer part, and we're going to do that to all 4 of the leaves. So let's get this traced. Now, one other thing I should mention is that we are going to make some release cuts. So coming from the center of this star shape here, we're going to make 4 release cuts so that we can get the base of the glass onto our coaster. Now this is one that I did earlier, and basically that's what the release cut is going to look like. So we're going to do 2 long release cuts, and then I'm going to start with 2 shorter ones and see how that goes. I also want to mention that at the tip of this release cut, I used my Beadsmith 1.5mm punch here just to punch a circle at the tip, just to provide a little bit of a strain relief. Don't know if you can see it on camera, but it's right there. So those are the steps to do before we take it to the machine to sew. I'm just going to finish tracing this, and then we're going to cut it out. To measure how far to go with the release cuts, just place your glass over, center it, mark it with a pencil on either side. I'll do this side too, although I'm not sure that I'm going to need all 4 release cuts. So I'm going to ensure that I cut to the very edge, and then right here I'm just going to go halfway because I'm not sure if I'm going to need this to go all the way through. We'll judge it once it's on the glass. So just go halfway. Come back to your pattern, and then we're going to just trace that right on there. Make sure you mark the end, and there. And there we go. We've got our 2 release cuts. And then this one, we're just going to go halfway. And then we'll judge that as we get it onto the glass as we finish this off. So I'm going to cut this out off camera, and then we're going to finish this off. Now that it's all cut out, I'm going to take my Beadsmith and I'm going to Just make a little punch at the end of where I want to cut. And I'm going to cut right up to the hole. So I'll just take my scissors and just cut right to that tip. Turn it around and do the same thing. Now I've got my release cuts there. And then I'm going to go halfway here, but I might end up going the full way. We'll have to see how that goes. Let's just take the glass and see what happens. So we're able to slip that through. I think we're going to have to make a release cut there too. Maybe just go 3/4. So let's just make a mark 3/4 of the way. Not quite as steep. Punch a hole there. And punch a hole there. Take the scissors. Cut right to that hole. That should be better. So now I'm going to take my base, we're going to go to the machine and sew them together, and we're just going to start right here, come around this way, and stop right there, just to hold it on. By varying the colors of the bases that you use to pair up with your 4-leaf clover, your guests are going to be able to tell which drink is theirs. So this slip-on coaster acts as both a coaster and a marker for your guests' drinks. So be sure to have a few different colors of felt that you can cut out and use for your base. Now the first size I did was just a little too small for the stem of this wine glass, but wine glasses have varying sizes of bases here, so I've got a few different sizes. You'll just have to use what works for you. So here it is. We're going to stitch it around here. We're going to start just a little of the way in, come around the edges, and what you want to do is you want to line it up so that you're even with the edge. You don't want it hanging over. You want it exactly even. And that way, you're going to have a little bit of slack in the middle here when you do that. So let's take it to the machine and stitch it up. So I'll just demonstrate the first one for you here. We're going to line up the edge. We're just going to start right here. And we're just going to stitch right the way around. Lift up the presser foot and do the same on the other side. Now we're going to cut it, and we're going to do the same thing with all 4 of these leaves. Be sure to line up the edge. Last one. Line up that edge and do the same thing. There you go. All 4 leaves are done. I'm just going to trim off the thread here and we're going to be ready for our glass. Okay, it's the moment of truth. Let's see if it works. We're going to slip it in one side and Slip it in the other. And there we go. Now let's get a little red into this color mix. For more upcycle ideas, be sure to subscribe and ring that bell for upcoming projects.